If you want to support Slopes Game Room, then please click the links that you see in the top comments.
In 1980, video games are the rage, swallowing quarters by the millions, launching a new entertainment industry, and setting the pace for the world's infatuation with high-tech electronic gadgets.
I love me some Space Invaders, which in itself is actually quite the odd thing to love, right? I mean, sure, we all like Space Invaders, you know, the aliens come down, do that iconic left and right jolt thing, slowly making their way towards Earth, with only you in the way to stop them. That is literally it. But did you know that back in the day that Space Invaders was in fact the highest grossing game ever? Did you know that it was so popular that in the 1980s version on the Atari VCS, it actually quadrupled the sales of the system, making it the first ever true system seller? Did you know that it all came about because of a dream that the creator had, injected with some inspiration from War of the Worlds? Which, as you know, I'm a very big fan of. And did you know that it has managed to rake in at least $13 billion in revenue over its ridiculous amounts of releases, and that was just in 2016, guys. But hey, it's just Space Invaders, you know, that game with the iconic artwork, the fantastic logo, the perfect pixelization of the invaders, and of course that incredible gameplay, right? Well, yes. I adore this game, the original version of this game at least, because it did everything it needed to do. It's the reason that even though I don't own an original arcade cabinet, and let's face it, I probably never will, I do have the quarter arcade cabinet on pre-order and the upcoming Space Invaders collection. Be sure to check the links below if you're interested. However, what I'm far more interested in today is what came after the original. So let's chat exactly about that. What honestly did come after a game that didn't need improving? Well, you got some good, actually plenty of good games, including Space Invaders 90 and Space Invaders Extreme, among many other games too, of course, like Extreme 2 and Gigamax 4 SE. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys, because today I want to give you guys 7 examples of when Space Invaders went a tad too far. Hi everybody, I'm Daniel Robertson, aka DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and these are the weirdest and strangest Space Invader crossovers ever. Welcome to Slope's Game Room.
Number 7.
So let's start off with one of the more obvious ones that all of us gaming historians know about, and that's why it's the first on the list. You see, back in the 1980s, the popular Space Invaders game had done wonders for the Atari 2600. You know, just imagine owning, I don't know, a Mega Drive without Aladdin, or maybe an NES without Duck Hunt. You get the idea. In fact, it was arguably even more important than those titles too. It was the ultimate killer app, and only 3 years later, an official hack of the game was actually given the green light by Atari themselves when Coke, as in the official Coca-Cola, decided to create only 125 copies of the hack to give away to businessmen at a 1983 trade show. What was this game? Why, it was Pepsi Wars, of course, also known as Coke Wars or Coke Invaders. Yep, what better way to show off that Coke is better than Pepsi than by giving one of the most successful games of all time, where you shoot away the evil invading Pepsi Invaders and one little custom alien at the end, because, you know, you need 6 invaders from left to right, and, you know, the word Pepsi's only got 5 letters in it. There really isn't much else to talk about here besides a couple of colour changes to suit the branding and the removal of lives in place of a time limit, and a flying Pepsi logo in place of a typical UFO. But best of all is the fact that the Pepsi Invader letters never actually go all of the way down, you know, because otherwise Pepsi would win. And then of course it would be a pretty stupid thing to promote if you was Coke. As you would expect, collectors of the Atari 2600 desperately want this for their collection, and it is now one of the most sought after cartridges for the system. If you manage to find one, you're probably going to be spending about $12,000.
Number 6.
Well, this one's not going to take too long, guys, because there's almost no information about it. Yeah, and no video footage either. This is Yuraka Sensei, something that I just definitely pronounced wrong, but when translated, it is Soft Tank, a series of online comedy flash shorts about a cowardly tank at war. Now, I did watch a couple of translated clips of this, and yeah, it's, you know, it's not for me. Regardless, it did very, very well. Well, in Japan at least, getting plenty of music released, most notably in the Taito no Toejam games, and for an extremely short amount of time, it also had an official crossover with Space Invaders. Again, by looking at plenty of images only, as this is sadly quite literally all I can find on this crossover, your job is to not shoot the invaders away, but instead to run and jump away, fitting the whole cowardly running away nature of the character. Yep, that's it. No, seriously, that's all there is. Next!
Number 5.
Back in 1995, Taito decided to breathe some more life into the Space Invaders name and do what Polaris would do a couple of years later and basically make a parody of its own game. Space Invaders 95. This is one of those sought after must-play type games that any fan of Space Invaders simply must play. Obviously, the easy way to do that is just with MAME, but you can also grab it on the Taito Legends 2 compilation on PS2 or in Space Invaders Pocket on the PSP. In this game, as you can see, it's turned into a far more colourful, upbeat shooter with only certain segments looking like Space Invaders. You can now charge your shot to take out a small blast of enemies, and at the end of every stage, you have bosses. The final one is just an absolutely awesome boss, literally a massive Space Invader. I mean, look at it, it's incredible. But in regard to crossovers, for this video, at the end of level 2, which is actually technically stage 11, you get to go up against a seafood platter, which is actually 3 Darius bosses aboard a sushi ship, which, let's be honest, makes a whole lot more sense than Darius ever did. You got King Fossil right at the front, Octopus top left, and Yamato top right. The wacky redesigns fit this game perfectly, and the fact that you are aboard a little Space Invaders ship included with Space Invader flag just makes this a brilliantly perfect cameo, and what is probably one of the best spin-offs in the entire Space Invaders back catalogue.
Number 4.
Okay, this one, yet again, isn't going to last very long because, just like that soft tank segment, this one also has almost no information about it because it was a mobile game that only lasted for 60 days. Yep, if you didn't pay the 315 yen to download this little title during the time, then you're out of luck. Absolutely no footage besides a few images exist of Space Invaders versus Pac-Man, and unless you can find an old Japanese phone from 2005 with this game still on it, I think it's safe to say that this is a lost game. So, as the title suggests, both of these incredibly iconic games invade the other, resulting in 2 game modes. Firstly, you got your Space Invaders section where it changes the UFO at the top of the screen to a ghost from Pac-Man. Shoot him, and then you get the chance to see Pac-Man come in from the side to eat him. And then of course you got the Pac-Man levels where you eat or run away from aliens instead of ghosts. It's simple, but honestly guys, I really want to play it. After all, both Space Invaders and Pac-Man are some of the most important video games of all time, so come on Potato, let us see what this game was all about.
Number 3.
So, time for something very, very odd. This one is PD Ultraman Invaders, a game created by Bandai under the license from Taito, who own the Space Invaders name, involving, as you may have guessed, Ultraman, the Japanese phenomenon that is Ultraman. It's not that great. Yeah, I didn't play this one for too long, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some Space Invaders and all that, but this is just crap. It does this pretty clever thing where the last one standing turns into multiple invaders of the same type, and you need to work out exactly which one it is. But yeah, guys, this is it. It's a budget title, so I wasn't expecting too much, but you know, let's not forget, so was this, and that game is actually pretty good. Avoid this one, guys, it's just boring.
Number 2.
So yeah, moving on from that crap, onto something that actually is probably one of the very best in this entire list. Alkaloid versus Space Invaders. Guys, this game is incredible, and it sounds good too, right? Well, what if I told you it was a mobile game? There goes half my audience. Well, what if I told you that this game has absolutely no microtransactions, no adverts, no making sure that you have to be online to play, none of that crap. It's simply £5 and boom, it's yours. Alkaloid vs Space Invaders is probably the best mobile game in a long time, period. Yep, mixing together Space Invaders with Alkaloid may sound a little odd, but actually it works perfectly. If this was a top 7 in terms of actual fun gameplay instead of weird oddities, this would probably be on the top spot. As you play the game, your job quite simply is to bounce back the enemy projectiles in a small area at the bottom of the screen to kill all of the invaders before the time runs out. As you get further on in the game, it starts to fill up with typical Alkaloid type blocks that require you to aim at just the right spot, and although I would say that the first 20 or even 30 levels are obviously fun, albeit a tad too easy, it doesn't take long before the game seriously ramps up the difficulty. One of the awesome things about this is that as you play, you earn money that you will need to use to buy power-ups for the harder levels and extra characters from a whole heap of Taito's back catalogue. Everything from elevator action to Bubble Bobble to Ninja Warriors, Darius, and a stupid amount more. Again, no microtransactions or even the option to do so, as far as I can tell, are present in this game. So top marks for that. Thankfully, for those that are still not up for getting this on mobile phones, you'll be happy to hear that it has just been confirmed for the Space Invaders Invincible collection on the Nintendo Switch. Affiliate link below if you fancy getting yourself a copy of that too. But for everyone else, stop crying about mobile games, because this is a bloody good mobile game.
Honourable mention.
Okay, so one quick honourable mention before we get to the top spot, because this Space Invaders game includes Pac-Man again and Pong. This is Pack-a-Pong. Just look at this game. I'm not including it in the list because it's just not an official game, but come on. When am I ever going to get the chance to talk about this game ever again?
Number 1.
And here we are in the top spot. And guys, I'm very sad to say that not only will you never be able to play this game because yet again it's gone, but it's probably the worst Space Invader game on this entire list. In fact, of the entire Space Invader back catalogue. And here it is. How rubbish does this look? Now granted, like I said, you know, this isn't available anymore and I haven't played it myself, as yet again it's a lost game, but the reviews all state that this is boring and pointless, easy and completely throwaway. So yeah guys, there you have it. That's the worst Space Invader crossover ever. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and what, you didn't see the crossover? Have a look again. Look, there it is. Dead center. No, slightly up a bit. There you go. That little logo that's slowly showing itself in this game is 55 DSL. What is 55 DSL, I hear you ask? Well, it's the only reason that Space Invaders World War exists. And for those that don't know what 55 DSL is, basically, it's an offshoot from the popular Diesel clothing brand that lasted for about 6 years. It's never been fully decommissioned, but Diesel don't even acknowledge that it exists anymore. I mean, look, the website's not even working anymore. It was headed by Andrea Rosso, the son of the original Diesel creator, and it was aimed at a slightly younger, hipper crowd. I mean, just look at this guy. He obviously knows what's up, am I right? By the way, that's me, guys. Well, as part of their get hit with the teens and early 20s crowd, they became a big part of Need for Speed Carbon's game's cutscenes with exclusive designs, and of course, you've got this. Space Invaders World War, just in time for the game's 30th anniversary. The idea was that countries would work together to shoot as many of these invaders as possible to see who would win at saving the Earth on a global scale. I mean, honestly, you know, it sounds good. I just wish it was more like this and not like this. And what did 55DSL have to do with any of this? Well, they just released some t-shirts. Actually, I can't deny that that t-shirt looks pretty awesome. Nothing like a bit of subliminal messaging now, is there? So yeah, there you go. An entire game made just so that DSL or 55DSL can sell some t-shirts. That is literally it. The game, by all accounts, was absolutely throwaway. So, you know, this is one of those ones that's lost forever, and I'm quite happy for it to stay lost forever. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do. Give the video a thumbs up, a thumbs down, whatever you prefer. If you like this, please do share it with your friends on social media, however you decide to share. It all helps the running of the show. Thank you all so much. But you know who does definitely help the running of the show more than anybody? Well, that would be my Patreons and YouTube members. So let's give them a big shout out, with an extra big shout out going to Gary Pinkett, Ryan Burford, Andrew Dalton, Ben Jackson, Jonathan Haywood, Kevin King, Christopher Turnbull, Phil Lowlins, Shadow Dial, That Lost Gamer, The Geeky Dad, Rovan Army, Ryan Holtz, Retro to Next Gen, Hawk89, Dina, Robertson Dunn, Adam Lefty Taylor, Intrigued Gaming, Tim Labonte, Asobi Quang DX, Tin Lun, Pixels Not Limited, aka Samuel Victor, Conrad Constantine, Pretendo64, Creamy Elephant, Casey Garner, Blitz Hedgy, Kinglink Reviews, R. Sloan, Shadow Dragon, Bewright, Jim Knapp, Game Apologist, Chris Applin, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, Ye Old Hamburglar, Dambity, Lucas Softail, Ronnie Method SSWB, Solix Capture, Jeremy Rodriguez, Nick Pollard, Bram Perez, Marcus Kimo, Cut Tyndall, Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, Todd Poolflow G, Petty Mew, and Trans Rights. Again, guys, if you want to get your name shown, get your name shouted out, then please click the links that you're going to be seeing on the screen in a second, or the links down below in that top comment description, whatever, you know what to do. Anyway, I think that's enough plugging for me, isn't it? I hope you liked the video, guys. And until next time, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.